You're listening to the Zine Collector Podcast, Episode 11, International Zine Month 2018. Hello, zine friends. Welcome back to the Zine Collector, or if you're new, welcome. I am your host and resident zine enthusiast, Jaime Nyx, and this is the Zine Collector Podcast, which is finally back. This is also not usually when I post. I usually post on Wednesdays, but this is a Sunday, but this is the special International Zine Month edition of the podcast. But I will get to International Zine Month in just a moment. First up, we have notes and announcements. Oh, goodness. I am back. I am back from a month-long break, about a month. I'm not sure exactly how it worked out weeks-wise, but I think it was about 4 weeks or something like that. So yes, hello, I am back. Thank you so much for your patience. I ended on a note. Well, I didn't end. I paused the podcast on a note where I probably should have kept the momentum going and things like that from a business perspective, but from a personal perspective, it was a really good thing for me to have a little bit of a break to get a bunch of other things done on the other side of things, and other things in the works. I didn't get nearly as much done as I wanted to, but at the same time, I got some really big, good things done. I'm not sure exactly how the timing worked out on everything, but I finally got seagreenzines.com onto self-hosting, which means a whole bunch of things. There's a lot that I can do now. There's a lot I'm planning on doing, but I don't want to speak too soon because, as I have learned, all of my plans eventually happen, but they rarely happen on time. So there is that. But yes, thank you so much for your patience. I'm really excited about Sea Green Zines and building it up to what I know it can be. And yeah, I just appreciate having the time to do that, and the support from people just being okay with me taking that time. I know we live in a world of pretty much constant content, basically, and so to take a break is a very risky thing, but in the end you just have to do what's right for you. And as much as I would have liked to have been able to present you with more on the episode I come back, here I am, basically. Anyway, I didn't really have like a big plan, but I was kind of like, vaguely, I want to be back for International Zine Month. How could I miss it? It's the Zine Collector Podcast, right? And I think it was this past Thursday, I think I went, oh, wow, it is the end of the month already. How did that happen? Why didn't anybody tell me? Everything has just gone zoom, in a good way. What's the saying? Time flies when you're having fun, that sort of thing. It hasn't all been fun, but time has certainly been flying regardless. Okay, so I'll keep moving along. Just thank you and welcome back. I have one announcement to make for this episode, and that is for the Android users in the audience. And the announcement is Google has created their own podcast app, Google Podcasts. And I'm very happy to say that, boom, the Zine Collector is there already on Google Podcasts, even though the app is practically brand new. Yay! So if you are interested in that app, you can find the podcast straight away, basically. This is not a shout out by any. This is a shout out, but this is not sponsored. This is not sponsored by any means, but I do have to give a shout out to my podcast host. I mean, they're only mine, obviously, but where I host the Zine Collector, and that is pippa.io. Again, not sponsored or anything like that. No kickbacks whatsoever. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm really excited to be back and I have so much to say and that sort of thing. But yes, I will slow down. Pippa.io, they're not the cheapest hosting out there. If money is a big issue, and believe me, it's not exactly a non-issue for me, they're not the cheapest out there. However, for the extra, I've found it to be totally worth the extra money that I have spent extra over what I may have spent elsewhere. They have been incredibly responsive to all of my queries. Every little thing in detail I've talked to them about, they have been, like I said, very responsive, very kind, very enthusiastic. That's been what's been really great is that, I've got the Zine Collector. It's just a baby podcast, it's very small and I love it and I'm proud of how far it's come and stuff like that. But compared to other podcasts, even just on Pippa.io, it's a small podcast. But I forgot my train of thought. I'll just come out and say I forgot my train of thought. So I'll refer to my notes and just say, basically, yes, they've been really responsive to my questions. They've made it so easy for the Zine Collector to, easy for me to submit the Zine Collector to various podcast apps like Pocket Casts and Castbox and stuff like that. They made the whole process very easy. But not only that, they approached me about getting the Zine Collector considered for Spotify. It's a consideration process. You're not automatically in just because you have a podcast. So they approached me and they took care of the whole thing, and Spotify accepted the Zine Collector, and that was amazing. And yeah, they did the whole thing. They had a meeting with Spotify. They asked if I wanted to be on the list. Of course I wanted to be on the list, and away they went, and it was wonderful. And the one big thing, and I think when I was originally looking at different podcast hosts, the one thing that Pippa had that I really loved was the analytics. And just the dashboard is very clean and easy to look at and easy to read and everything. And the analytics are great. You have breakdowns by country. You have breakdowns by what people are using to listen to your podcast, all of that stuff. And I love analytics. I love numbers. I love statistics, that sort of thing. And so Pippa has been absolutely perfect for me in that regard. Like I said, they're not the cheapest, but I have found that they have been worth it to me. If you have any questions about Pippa or my experience with them, or even just what I'm using and what I'm doing for podcasting, please don't feel shy. I'm happy to talk about it. I just I get a little bit nervous and get a little bit too involved in my own head and worried that I'm going to be boring to people. So please don't feel shy about asking questions. Don't feel intimidated by any means. I like to think that I'm pretty nice. So yes. Anyway, the Zine Collector is now on Google Podcasts. And I'm excited. Oh, goodness. And I'm glad that Google is getting has a podcast app. They have a podcast app out now. I mean, I'm sure there's a million negative things to say about Google, but there are also positive things, and I like having everything in one place. But anyway, before I get into that, let's get on to some zine events. Oh, sorry, bumped the mic. Let's get on to some zine events happening around the world. Now, if you're listening to this, you won't know that I have moved podcast spaces. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you've been watching my Happy Mail Monday videos, if you have watched my recent video in which I showed the move and everything like that, I am in a slightly different space. But yes, for the podcast, the listeners only, I'm in a new space. I've got I think I could say significantly smaller table. So apologies in advance. I'm trying to work with the space I have, but excuse me. I do have a problem with bumping the mic on occasion. I'm not quite used to the limited area that I have. So yes, Apologies in advance. Now let's get on to those zine events happening around the world. Okay, first up we have the Brum Zine Fest happening in Birmingham, UK. And that's on July 1st, as in today, as in possibly tomorrow, depending on what time zone you're in or when you're watching it. But yes, that is on July 1st, the Brum Zine Fest in Birmingham, UK. On July 4th in Bordeaux, France, we have Zine Fest 5, meetings of micro editions, fanzines, and multiples. Ooh. Wouldn't you just love to go to France for a zine fest? Oh, I'm off to France for a zine fest. Oh. Goodness. Anyway, let's see. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Also in Birmingham, UK on July 7th, we have the Birmingham Zine Comic and DIY Art Fair. I'm just wondering I suppose it could be over 2 weekends, that sort of thing. But yes, also in Birmingham in the UK. Now, on July 7th in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the US, we have the Glue Stick Festival. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. And also on July 7th in various locations, it looks like, we have Small Press Day 2018 in Erie. I'm probably saying that wrong. E-I-R-E, Erie, and the UK. On July 12th through the 14th in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we have the Zine Librarian Unconference. That's interesting. And on the 14th, we have the Cebu, C-E-B-U, Zine Fest happening in the Philippines. On July 14th in Brooklyn, New York, we have Pete's Mini Zine Fest. Well done, Pete. And on July 14th in London, UK, we have the South London Comics and Zine Fair. If you'd like a direct line to zine events around the world or would like to make sure that your zine event is listed, check out @fanzines on Twitter and Facebook. Links are in the description. Make sure your event is in the calendar or see what's happening in your neck of the woods. I do wonder where that saying came from, neck of the woods. Head of the woods, feet. Is there an area that is the feet of the woods or the knees? Rambling. I'm back. You missed the rambling. You know you did. Or maybe it was just me. I don't get out much otherwise, so maybe this is the rambling is because I don't talk to people much otherwise. Oh, this is not a confessional, Nyx. So the last episode 10 of the Zine Collector, at the end of May, was a community episode where I invited zine makers from around the world to talk about their zines as well as what zines are to them, why zines are important to them, that sort of thing. If you haven't seen that, and even if you've listened to the podcast and not seen the video, I highly recommend looking at the video on YouTube. It's not everybody was able to send in video and audio. Everybody was able to send in audio, obviously, but it's really fun to see. I think it's really fun to see people actually talking about why they love zines and why they think zines are important. I suppose that's probably why I decided to do the video portion of the podcast as well as the audio, because there's just something about seeing someone talking as well as listening to them. It's probably why I don't like phones either. I want to see the person talking. Anyway, so that was the last episode, number 10. In this episode, we're still sort of on the community line of things, the area of community, insofar as we are celebrating July International Zine Month. Ta-da! Dramatic music. No, not dramatic music. Celebratory music. It is my favorite month of the year, and it's not even my birthday month, but what can I say? Like, is anybody really surprised at this point that I would like International Zine Month more than my birthday month? That probably makes me a little bit sad, but anyway. And why else would I be doing the podcast on a Sunday rather than a Wednesday? Anyway, International Zine Month. As I've said here before, I don't want to assume anybody's level of familiarity or unfamiliarity with zines. So I'm going to talk a little bit about International Zine Month, what's happening, what you can do, how you can participate, and a little bit about how I'm participating this year. So International Zine Month started, I believe, in 2009 when Alex Reck of Stolen Sharpie Revolution fame basically found herself asking, wouldn't it be pretty cool if we had an International Zine Month? And yeah, she made it happen. So thank you, Alex, for doing that way back in 2009. Here we are, and I'm very excited if you hadn't already picked up on that. As a part of the festivities, you might say, Alex has posted a brand new, shiny, updated list of daily activities. Yes, International Zine Month is a month for joining in with activities. It's not going, yay, that's a thing, and then not doing anything. There is a list of things for you. There's suggestions. You don't have to feel pressured to do anything in particular. You might not be able to do all of the activities, but they are there for you to enjoy should you decide to participate. And yeah, there are so many things. There's one thing per day in for the month, but there are also extra credit activities too. But for the daily activities, you have things like cook with a recipe you found in a zine, and there's Zine Trade Day, and then the close to my heart, June 14th is Valentine's Day, where I'll leave it to the list to explain. But yes, I'm not going to spoil the whole list for you. That I feel like that would be the wrong thing for me to do. But I will say for extra credit, there are, getting ahead of myself. Along with the daily activities, there are extra credit activities as well. And these are things like read zines every day and share your progress online. Like I said, I won't spoil the whole list for you. If you'd like to check out the list to see how, when, where you'd like to participate, you can go to stolensharpierevolution.org, or if you're on Facebook, you can look for July is International Zine Month. Both of them will take you to Stolen Sharpie Revolution has the text-based list of things that are happening. Also, it has zine events happening interspersed in the list as well, to see, just in case you want to participate in a live zine event as well. Now, there's also internationalzinemonth.wordpress.com, but that hasn't been updated for a long time, so I would stick with either stolensharpierevolution.org or Facebook. So just as an aside, today is day 1. Happy July 1st, International Zine Month stuff. So the prompt for today, as an example, the prompt for today is Canazine Day. Buy, read, or share zines from Canada for Canada Day. So my participation for the day is as soon as the podcast is done, I am going to curl up and get nice and warm because it's very cold here in Australia, at least this section of Australia. I'm going to curl up, get nice and warm, and I am sitting down with 8 little acorns, number 5 and number 6 by Canadian zine maker Miranda Elizabeth. They have made lots of awesome zines, and I am looking forward to reading these ones. But don't worry, this podcast isn't going to turn into a review cast. Now, if you can hear that, I apologize. That is my cat scratching at the door, and no, he cannot come in. So yes, that's my day 1 participation. Now, note that you can buy, you can read, or you can share. There lots of possibilities. Canadian zines are specific, but you can do a lot with them. You don't even necessarily have to own a Canadian zine. You can just share, hey, I really want this zine, and it's by a Canadian zine maker, that sort of thing. It's all good, and it's all meant for, it's like an entire month of sharing is caring. I love it. So that's what I'm doing. I've been joining in with International Zine Month for a few years now. I think I first joined in on, in 2015. You can pop onto seagreenZines.com and go to the International Zine Month category if you want to check out what I've done in past years. I haven't been able to keep up with every single day in past years. I don't know if I did last year or not, but yeah, bits and bobs here and there. And that's the thing, like, there's no pressure. Like, I'm really excited and really intense about this, but like, nobody's gonna judge you if you miss a day or can't do a day for whatever reason. Like, I can tell you right now that there are at least a few days in July that I'm very likely to miss because of personal things going on, but you never know. I'll keep trying, but nobody's judging. It's all meant to be fun, and please don't let my my enthusiasm intimidate or otherwise put you off from participating. Oh goodness! So yes, you can go to the website and check out and see what I've done in the past. I think. Let's see. This is the first updated list since 2015. So basically, starting in 2015, I use the same list every year. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so new list for 2018. Very exciting. So having done all that, having participated over the years, I'm afraid there is one thing that I haven't really done, that I've never done International Zine Month or otherwise, and I feel bad because, like, goodness, I feel weird having never done this. Not that you should if you haven't, but drum roll, I have never done, well, actually, inappropriate drum roll call. I have never done, drum roll, a 24-hour zine. Yes, I know. I feel like my training is incomplete. My very zine mother title is under question. How could I possibly have that title and not have done this 24-hour zine, this staple of zine culture? Oh goodness. So yes, this year I will be participating and doing a 24-hour zine, which is pretty self-explanatory. You make one zine in 24 hours. That's what it comes down to. I do believe, actually backing up, it's a 24-page zine in 24 hours. So yeah, it's not a one-page zine, that sort of thing, but I will be guaranteeing you that I am going to be trying to finish by a reasonable time, because I like my sleep. I need my sleep, and nobody likes me when I don't have sleep. Oh goodness. So yes, that's me. That's my big thing. I haven't solidified all the details or anything like that yet. I will probably be doing it in the second half of the month at some point. I think in the past there's been like a day for it. I didn't triple check the list. I'm not sure if there's a specific day for it. I know it's extra credit, but anyway, I'll probably be doing it in the second half of the month. And I was thinking of doing like short video type updates on Instagram. But if you'd like something else, I don't know how it would work exactly with YouTube. I've never streamed anything before, so I don't know how well that would go, or how badly that would go, or how that would even work. So yeah, I'm open to suggestions, that sort of thing. Like I said, I was thinking of the Instagram videos, updates, that sort of thing. But if you would like anything else, please let me know. If you want me to do something more, something different, I'm really open to suggestions at this point. This is the time to get those suggestions in, because I'm energetic, I'm happy, I'm bouncing, I'm really ready for it. So yes, ready for the month to come. I was going to say on that note, but it's actually, similar note because we're on the same topic, but yes. If you are participating in International Zine Month in any way, be it just one day or the whole month or just the 24-hour challenge, whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it, let me know. I like to put together a list that gets bigger and bigger over the course of the month, linking out to where people are participating, doing various things. And that way it's all sharing, getting to know new zine makers, getting to catch up with zine makers you haven't caught up with for a while, that sort of thing. People aren't always necessarily doing what's on the list. They are celebrating in other ways too. So it's a sharing of ideas as well. Yeah, it's just really exciting. It's kind of like a month-long cocktail party without the gross hors d'oeuvres or annoying small talk. Is that an okay comparison? I hope so. Oh, goodness me. I think I usually would do the Q&A section now, but I think the Q for this episode would be, what are you doing for International Zine Month? Originally I had a few other things planned, but right now I'm just I'm trying not to overstep. I'm trying not to take a bigger bite than I can chew, that sort of thing. So I'm focusing on doing the prompts as much as I can, and then anything extra is absolutely bonus. Of course, I'll be doing the extra in the form of the 24-hour zine challenge. So yes, that would be the question I'd be answering, and the sharing is caring is basically would be all the links for the information on International Zine Month. A little bit of a cheaty sort of episode, but yes, it is a bit of a shorter and sweeter podcast this run, so I hope you'll indulge me that, given that I'm just back into the swing of things. So yes, I sort of on that note, like legitimately this time, not just out of habit for saying it, I will leave you with a question in regards to the length of podcast episodes. I am thinking about a very big topic, like covering a very big topic for the podcast. And I have only just started all the research I need to do, and there's a lot of research I need to do. And I already know that this could easily go over an hour. I don't think it would be 2 hours. That'd be a lot. But it could easily go over an hour. So my question for you, or it's probably 3 questions really, is when it comes to a big topic, is your preference to have one big podcast where you get all the information? It's big podcast, but you get all the information in one. Or would you prefer smaller podcasts, like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 podcasts, and have the information split up so that way it's easier to, deal with and process, one bit of the information at a time? That sort of thing. Do you want it in one lot and you'll do with it and listen to it as you please? Or, should I section it out so it's a bit more, digestible, as they might say? Or does it come down to the topic? Like, is it entirely dependent on the topic? Would you be listening to an hour of topic A, but if it was topic B, be like, no, I'd prefer part 1, part 2, part 3, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm wondering about today. Please let me know in the comments. This will definitely inform this episode. I don't want to get too much into what the topic is just yet. I don't know why, just because I'm me, that sort of thing. But yes, longer, shorter, depends on the topic. Let me know in the comments, on YouTube, on the blog, on the various social media sites, wherever you want to respond. It is all good by me. Yeah, that's about it. That's what I'm really curious about, because I have just started this chipping away at this iceberg of a topic, and I think it's really important, and I really want to cover it, and I've been wanting to cover it for a long time. It's mostly now I'm worried about, I want to create a podcast that is the most accessible and the most desired form for you to listen to and or watch, that sort of thing. So yes, that is me for today, Zine friends. Links to everything I've talked about are in the description, and sometimes there are bonus links Oh, excuse me. Might be just the time. My throat's starting to feel a little bit itchy. Excuse me. As I said, links to everything I talked about are in the description, and sometimes I have bonus links as well if there's anything related. I can't say right now whether or not there are bonus links, but you never know. Be sure to stop by seagreenzines.com, where I review zines every Thursday and Friday. And speaking of zine reviews, last Friday I reviewed Self-Care. Last Friday? I believe it was last Friday. I reviewed Self-Care for Zinesters by Miranda Elizabeth. I will link to that in the description because I feel like that's a really important zine. And there is, within that review, there is a link to their Miranda's related blog post that covers a few of the things that are in the zine. And I think it's really important to read. And the reason I posted the review right before July is because I know I personally can get really excited about things and get really into things and ignore my self-care. And if you've read my reviews or been around for a while, you know that I read a lot of self-care zines, a lot of them. And this is definitely one of the top ones, one of the ones I would recommend the most. This would be a zine I would happily and forever put in a distro if I had a distro, that sort of thing. So yes, check out the review. Link will be in the description. And the link to Miranda's blog post will be in the review post. Etc., etc., etc. Remember that all opinions I have expressed are only that. They are just opinions. There are no gatekeepers in the zine community, nor should there be. The music for this podcast, Spanish Summer. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm going a million miles a minute. I hope I'm not putting anybody off by going too fast. I'm just really wound up right now. The music for this podcast, Spanish Summer by Audionautics, is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution license. This is the Zine Collector. I'm your host, Jaime Nyx. I hope you've had a wonderful time. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And happy International Zine Month! Yes! I am not sure whether I will be back on the 11th or the 18th. It all really depends. Like I said, I have some personal things going on that will keep me away from the podcasting desk, but we will see how things go. I will shoot for the 11th, but plan on at least being on the 18th. Hope for 11th, 18th, possibly more likely. We'll see how things go. So yes, have a wonderful week ahead. Have a wonderful fortnight ahead. Have a wonderful, happy International Zine Month. And please don't forget to get back in contact. To get in contact if you're participating. I am happy to share your various links for your various projects on Sea Green Zines and my other social media. So yes, that's me. Have wonderful times ahead, and I will catch you next time. Go make some zines. So I'm recording this at, I don't know, it's 4 o'clock maybe? Could be, not sure. And I'm thinking about keeping my voice at a certain level. I'm thinking about maybe doing more late night things, evening sort of podcast, because the ceiling light and various lights around the room seem to be a little bit easier to deal with, reflection on my glasses wise, than during the day. So yeah, if you have any comments, if I look a little washed out with this lighting, I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think of the background. Do you want a tour or anything like that? Do you want to see close up of my badge pin collection, that sort of thing? Let me know. Oh gosh. It's going to be a long but amazing month.